in this game number 3. Loading into a Kingzone versus Hanwha Live. How much change will there be in the bans? Orianna, Shen, and Zoe for themselves on the blue side. With the 3 bans from Kingzone, maybe they drop the Zoe ban.
I think you do. You look at the bans here from Hanwha, they went for Aatrox, Rakan, and Taliyah.
It's a Zoe. On your screen.
Kind of looks like a Zoe. It's talking about BDD, so it definitely is, but kind of an interesting one there.
Zoe was the final ban on blue side for Hanwha Live, the Aatrox junk ban, and we'll see where they go from there. Rakan, Taliyah was the 2 in game number 1.
I winced a bit because Rakan's going to be banned, and I don't think they're going to let the Taliyah pop through.
Very interesting final ban. They ban away the Kalista. Prey and Sungyun are 2 of our only Kalista players we've had in the LCK. It's a very interesting one. I wonder what Sungyun makes of that. He seems quite perturbed by it. See if the Ezreal does return to high priority in this draft. Tahm Kench is available. Lot is available. For Kingzone, they first picked Tahm Kench in game number 1.
Well, they skipped the Tahm Kench and they go straight for the Ezreal. Didn't work out for Sungyun in game number 2, but there were a lot of different factors why. The only thing about this is that they do give Tahm Kench Zoe away to Hanwha Life. I'm not sure, again, that Hanwha Life will just let BDD have the Zoe. He seems really confident on it at the very least today.
BDD has moved to 8-2 on the Zoe, but Lava is 6-3 himself. If BDD has a go at countering it, seeing the same global fans in the audience.
They're staying until Hanwha's going to win. The true fans.
It is 11:22 p.m. Korean Standard Time, so very likely with this broadcast, in fact 100% almost, this broadcast will go into past midnight. A shout out to all the fans who stuck around after the last train. They do go for the Zoe. They don't want to give it to BDD. But what does BDD want to play into Zoe is going to be fun to see.
Well, the Orianna was banned by Kingzone, but a lot of other picks you can take into the Zoe. We saw the Galio come out from Hanwha Life in game number 2. And there are other picks that you can choose that are not Galio, but I think they need to think about what type of composition as well do they want to play. Lots to think about here. Peanut just going to pick up the Trundle, actually, for game number 3.
First time he's visited Trundle in a while. He's had some good games on this Trundle. He's been ahead in the pathing. Was dictated to in game number 1, so wants to be ahead of Seonghwan this time. We saw the Elise attempted into the Trundle earlier today. Didn't really work. Oh boy, are we seeing the Aurelion Sol here tonight? BDD has played it this season. Can roam very strongly with the Trundle, and we will. So in what is close to a must-win game for Kingzone, if they have any hope of finishing first, they will go for this Aurelion Sol. 1-1 for BDD this season.
I don't really know what to think about that. That's a very interesting one with all the other picks that they had available. Take the Aurelion Sol into it. Suppose they want to be big on the map. Trundle Aurelion Sol can be pretty nice in making some map plays.
If you've got something big coming from your jungler, Aurelion Sol will rotate first. He'll bring a CC. And you could see definitely a hunting job on the Kindred. Open season here. Try to shut down the Kindred. So Seonghwan will come for his 9th game of Kindred, 4-4 on the season. Sort of game where Kindred's going to go real big or real small. It's either going to be slaying or being slain on this Kindred, given the Aurelion Sol pick coming through from BDD. Hasn't played it in a long while. He's given a lesson by, not Crown, Fly, of course, our resident Aurelion Sol.
Definitely not Crown.
No. Crown showed us how to win a game as well, but also lose it.
Yes.
The Braum ban and Alistair ban coming through this time around. So once again, trying to hold down Gorilla's champion pool. Might just fall back onto Morgana this game.
Jhin even. We saw what Teddy can do on the Jhin pick.
It's really strong against Ezreal, and Jhin Tahm Kench does very well in most lanes against most Ezreal support duos. Sungyun has had a 14-kill Kai'Sa game, but that was the funnel. Are we taking away the Kai'Sa? We are. Okay, very squishy lineup from Hanwha Life. Isn't a lot of synergy with the team when it comes to the Kai'Sa. Let's just straight up power Kai'Sa draft. Kingzone see the Kai'Sa, and it's time to pick for lane. Soraka would represent that.
Oh boy. thinking about exactly what to blind pick as well. You were talking about lack of tankiness. What would Hanwha Life consider taking up into the top lane? Gorilla and the side of Kingzone have to consider that. So they think maybe just the blind pick Gangplank is the answer here.
Gangplank gives them just the most global momentum. They will have a Cannon Barrage, a Wish, Aurelion Sol flying over the map, and Trundle, who can duel basically every enemy jungler. So they're picking this one, I think, for the Cannon Barrage and the map plays this would provide. The side of Kingzone, Jace is open, could be taken into the GP. The Vladimir would be the old lane counter. But Vladimir has been banned over time. Until Spellbook Ignite, Vladimir was the old pick into GP. Are they really feeling this one? It seems risky. Instead, maybe they will pick something that does combo with the Kai'Sa well, but only a farm lane. The GP is certainly going to be a ticking time bomb in this game number 3. But apparently Hanwha Life say, we're not worried about the ticking time bomb. We're going to decide this game pre-third.
Really interesting to see the Ornn come in here. You mentioned the combination with the Kai'Sa, but Rascal just in the top lane saying, hey, I'm collecting the gold. I got fat stacks up in the top side, and I have a Trundle and Aurelion Sol to help me out. Not to mention the Soraka. It's, I feel like Kingzone's draft is a little bit more to my liking, Papa.
I agree with you, but Kindred Zoe as a duo can do some really interesting things to warp games. Kindred gets far enough ahead with reliable engage now provided by the Ornn. Stranger things can happen, and we've seen the best and worst of Aurelion Sol as recently as a couple of days ago. There was a loss on that for Fly just a few days ago, so let's see if BDD and Peanut can combo together. They've gone through streaky periods of being an inseparable jungle and mid duo and also having their own growing pains. Game number 3 rolls around, no sign of Cuz. Hanwha Life Esports, they're going big or they're going home.
I like it. It's definitely to the style of Hanwha Life and the way they like to play the game. Lava trying to say, hey, you got your turn on Zoe, now it's my turn. And he's going up against Aurelion Sol. BDD trying to bring in the new stuff up against this Zoe. Someone on the Kindred too. He looked really good on the Trundle 2 games in a row. Got first blood twice in a row. Kindred, definitely a lot of responsibility on your back. You need to do a lot of carrying. There are moments where you have to be there for Lamb's Respite to keep your team alive, especially the Kai'Sa and the Zoe.
Lava stealing away the Zoe. BDD responds with Aurelion Sol. Not an expectation, but a hype pick nonetheless.
It's going to be a fun one, guys. A huge game, a huge decider here for the entire LCK. Let's jump into game number 3 and find out.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
Yeah, the fans are hyped. You at home should be hyped. Yes, you.
Definitely nothing to complain about for me. I love standings implications. I love the last week of the LCK. We have a 5-day week here into a very abbreviated 3-day week next week. So 8 match days, 7 after today is done, and so much up in the air. Hanwha Life, look at Key's Keystone here. He's actually gone for a very old Tahm Kench Keystone. Then to get the lockdown here with the Glacial Augment. You can pull off a lot of cheese with this pick in lane, and people won't be practiced against it because you don't see Glacial Augment on basically anyone, let alone a Tahm Kench, for about 3 or 4 months. If the Kai'Sa can get through the laning phase, we already mentioned the 14-kill game that Sungyun had on the Kai'Sa, but that was the funnel. The funnel is out, but the Kai'Sa is back.
We've seen a lot of this, just into the bottom lane. You feel like, hey, the game's gonna go slower. I can just roll up with 3 items after, 30 minutes, and I'm gonna be a powerhouse. But I think I lost the game earlier today, if I'm not mistaken. Had a little bit of trouble.
Viper lost that one for Griffin against Jin Air. This game number 3. Need to see this time here what will happen.
Yeah.
Every time we see an Aurelion Sol, we know that it normally hits big or struggles. Seonghwan going for a very aggressive path. He went red buff into gank bot.
Glacial Augment, baby.
Oh my. This could be really big.
Get in there, Key. Get in there and auto him. Well,
He could just die.
Key might die. Trying to bait him in here. The Ignite comes down, but exhaust immediately onto Sungwon, and a flash from Prey means that it is not going to happen. Now kind of an awkward path used here by Sungwon. Is going to miss a bit as Peanut going for the Scuttle Crown.
And whenever you go for an awkward path and don't get the gank, you can be punished across the map and in your jungle. That Rift Scuttle bot side is gone. The blue buff might be contested here by the Trundle, and Trundle poking his head around the bot side of the map. Glacial Augment, Tahm Kench meant shenanigans. No summoners on Key. Here comes Peanut. They want the Tahm Kench.
They want him badly. Can they lock him down? The flash in with the red buff, and it's as easy as you'd like. First blood to Gorilla on the Soraka.
Problem when you go for something like this Glacial Augment is that your bot lane, enemy bot lane is going to play safer because it's out of the norm. It's a very unexpected thing. In the summer season of the LCK, might be the first Glacial Augment we've had at all. Nice gank capitalization by the Trundle. Here comes BDD.
Oh, hello. I'm the Dragon. You want to talk? Let's try to go for this kill here. Looking for the stun. Nice prediction there from BDD. The one last auto will do it. And BDD says, I don't care about your Zoe. I'm playing Aurelion Sol.
How to win a game in 3 minutes. This early game has been definitely won by the side of Kingzone DragonX. Aurelion Sol goes top. They get that advantage. Gonna see what happened bot lane. It was all pretty clear cut. The enemy was gonna go secure his blue, afraid of being contested by Trundle. Key says, but I've got no summoners. And for all the best laid plans, there's nothing Key can do.
I feel like when the Tahm Kench is gonna die anyway, maybe you wanna hand the kill over to your Ezreal, but Gorilla, the bloodthirsty support in the bottom lane, says I'm playing Soraka, but I'm getting the kills.
Kingzone doing that assist for other teams on the ladder and themselves when it comes to the title race. They win here, they join Griffin at 11 match wins. Hanwha Life will be stuck at 8. And that means that SK Telecom can move up the standings with a match victory. SKT and Hanwha Life definitely have very tricky schedules moving forward, but as long as SKT fans can know if we win every match, we qualify, that should be enough for them.
Yeah, I mean, SKT's looking good. Kingzone looking a lot better after game number 1. But game number 2, definitely the one to watch. That was very, very close and could have really gone either way. One member survives on Hanwha. Maybe they take the Baron away in the mid-game. Or in the later game, I should say. It's been a fun series so far, that's for sure. Hanwha, we mentioned it before, they're definitely a team that can take games off of any team here in the LCK. Kingzone made some mistakes in game number 1, and now they came out to fight 2 games in a row.
Praying Gorilla with the Soraka, able to control this wave very easily, freezing it up as well. Tahm Kench, until he gets flash up, is going to have to be super defensive. And BDD's already been unleashed on the map once. Waiting to see if we can see BDD make some more big map plays. Definitely had most of his success on roaming champions Talia and Galio. His 2 big picks classically. BDD 1-on-1 on the Aurelion Sol like we mentioned. Here's Peanut, he's back bot lane, back to the scene of the crime. Key's still quite a while till his flash is available.
Someone's in position, and they do have a ward to spot out Peanut. It is going to be swept up though, so Peanut knows he is spotted. Probably not going to commit to any gank, and now Sungwon in the lane, going to have to back away. So far, BDD outside of that one gank hasn't looked for anything else. Thinking about coming down bottom side with the help of Peanut.
BDD here as well, so they can't quite get the control ward, and actually double control ward is invested to spot anybody looking for a turret dive here onto the Hanwha Life Esports duo. Getting the Ezreal out of lane in about 3 to 5 minutes time is usually what you want to do. Close to 1.5 items by then is looking for the all-in on Rascal here.
Not sure if he can kill him there. Gets the brittle. Linderong trying to get some more mana to get on in here. His cooldowns are a little bit low. Looking for the knockup now. He's maybe going to get this one. One more auto would do it. Rascal has to flash away. Thankfully, Linderong didn't have his flash because of the earlier gank, or else Rascal would have been dead.
Everyone's always surprised by Ornn damage in lane. Gets all the procs, can't quite get the kill. Flashes are both down. I guess Linderong used his earlier, trying to get away from the gank. From this all, Sungwon will pick up this top side scuttle, will be his second mark of the game. And the best news story for Hanwha Life is that he's getting those because otherwise it's a 2,000 gold lead for Kingzone DragonX.
That's definitely a good news story. They have Sungwon quietly farming. Also, Lava himself, even though he didn't get a kill like BDD, is able to go even with him in CS in the mid lane. So they have a couple of their carries doing pretty well. Kai's on the bottom side, understandably getting behind. Prey only did get the assist. Of course, things are looking good for Kingzone, but the game isn't over yet.
Rascal, because he's up in CS and Gangplank, is meaning this game looks very one-sided in terms of gold. It is 2,300 gold. With no neutrals down, and actually a Scuttle Crab disadvantage on the side of Kingzone. Hooray for Klepto Gangplank. But Hanwha Life basically are rolling the dice on trying to make the most of Sangyun at 1 or 2 items and winning team fights from there. A very 5v5 centric comp, which is kind of similar what they did in game number 2, going for the Camille Galio. It certainly didn't work at the start, but they turned it on in the mid game. And if they feel like they can return to that, get Sangyun anywhere near 5 or 6 kills, maybe the risk will be worth it. Klepto Gangplank getting this far ahead is always a risk that I think teams are looking to avoid. But Hanwha Life opted into it with the final pick on.
BDD here, he's Aurelion Sol with blue now, and level 2 boots. The Merc Treads picked up early. Obviously doesn't have much AP, but has some very high roaming potential. He's got a lane to go to. Was thinking about going up top, cleared up some vision. Not really gonna have the super effective roams just yet. Still just pushing on in.
So have the ability to hit the sideways very easily, can push out in these early moments before there's Ludens in order to roam top or bot. GP has, lane priority on Ornn, or at least will be able to farm next to him very safely, and bot lane is a heavy winning lane. There's a very long map for them to chase. That's why you see Sungwon taking the blast plant defensively. For now, at least, Kingzone control the rotations top and bot side of the map, which means the Kindred, for now, looking like he's going to be on the back foot for the majority of the early game.
Yeah, just sitting back, at least he was able to pick up the 2 marks. If the RNG goes a different way, or if Peanut showed more pressure towards the top side. Look at this again, gets it onto the Scuttle Crab that they have control of. Sungwon in a good spot. Let's see if he gets it smited away. No, he will pick up his 3rd mark of the game.
That is certainly very fortunate. He's definitely gotten very, very lucky. That's a lot of sacks of gold from Ezreal Q. If we're going to use a Klepto analogy. Klepto is going to mean that Prey and Rascal are going to be shouldering a lot of the gold lead in this game. Still around the 2,700 mark. One more stack from Sungwon, a kill onto the Trundle, and suddenly he has that 75 range. That makes the Kindred a lot more annoying to face. See how many CS Sangyun has to give up. This Kai'Sa Tahm Kench definitely struggling heavily in the bot side. Glacial Augment feeling pretty useless, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, when you get killed down on the bottom side, have to flash away while trying to force something with your Glacial Augment. It's not going to be good.
If you win the game from that level 2 gank, you look like a genius with the Glacial Augment. But I feel like if Glacial Augment wasn't revealed to the enemy, then it'll be amazing. But because it was revealed, Kingzone played respectful. Key took too much damage. Went on to get taken down by the smart gank. So things have really conspired against the Tahm Kench Kai'Sa.
Peanut Peanut, BDD checking the Rift Herald, because we've seen what the Kindreds can do when they try to go ahead and just take it away, sneak it away with no vision. Didn't have vision, but they have an Aurelion Sol, which is basically a moving ward. Oh, okay, Lava uses the Ghost on his W. BDD trying to get a little bit frisky.
Word of Ages, the standard choice on the Aurelion Sol these days, Catalyst for laning phase. And the GOP, no longer building out of that item, doesn't get much out of CDR. Looking for a dive here at Hanwha Life. They're trying to fight, actually. They're going for the flank.
Oh boy, BDD's already here. Someone is going to get that Lancer Spike down. Linderong, can he get the big knockup here on a Peanut? He will! And the damage comes in, but downhill he go as well. And Rascal frontlining right now, trying to follow up. And look at BDD, just running Sungwon down. He's going to pick up a double kill. He's now 3-0 on the Rift.
Phase Rush means there's no kiting this man. The Abyssal Voyage, because the Aurelion Soul was already there, doesn't outnumber for as long as they think it will. They share the gold between Prey and GP. The gold lead is now getting to comical levels. It's 4,200 at 12 minutes.
I generally feel like when series go this way, especially when game 2 is it ties up and it's super close, it's either a blowout in game 3 or it's another really close game. I think we might be leaning towards the way of a blowout here, as BDD's Aurelion Soul is really on point.
Where is Aurelion Soul? It's not a question that Hanwha Life asks. They say, we can get in the back line, we can get 5 members there first. They're actually there about the same time while they get the first kill. It's very easy on the back end of this fight for BDD to clean up. Kicks damage onto Songwon. Rest in peace, Noble Kindred. Goes back, got that Rod of Ages. He is super powered. This early into the game, the Luden's going to be delayed. The first item for Songyun, Stormrazor, going to take a while. Is the game going to be over before that second Songyun item comes in? And at that same time, how many items will GP have when Stormrazor Rageblade is complete?
Well, Sungwon in a little bit of trouble here. I say a little bit, but let's see what happens. The Flash Devour comes in. Songyun is bursting on in. Peanut taking a lot of damage, and down he will go. The turnaround there as just more members of Hanwha were in position.
Able to rotate so quickly. Very decisive by Hanwha Life to capitalize on a kill. Very fortunate it falls into the lap of the Kai'Sa as well. Needs any bit of gold she can get. 40 CS behind the Ezreal. Ult from the Ezreal will clear most of the way. If he's the Ornn ultimate, just a zone.
They're gonna knock him up. Of course, Lava on the Zoe can do it as well. But more importantly, you mentioned the zone, they get the turret as well. So what was just 1 kill and 1 out of position play means a nice little gold amount given over to the side of Hanwha Life.
And they need to do little creative things like that to actually find advantage. We'll watch the replay and understand Songwon was on a ward. It looks like 3v1, GG. He invests his flash to actually get the Devour off. That means Kindred Liz didn't have ultimate as his fight began. I mean, it was just ticking up. They get the answering kill onto Peanut. Nice capitalization by Hanwha Life.
Songyun surprisingly scary. The second she showed up, they were like, oh crap. We gotta back out of this one. Even though she is down 44 CS. It's now 1-0-1 with the finished Stormrazor. So the Kai'Sa slowly getting online here in this game.
Good news stories for Hanwha Life. They have an orange. That means someone to face check. They have a Tom Kench as well. So contesting vision, pretty decent on the side of Hanwha Life, whereas Kingzone are very squishy. Only Trundle, a true frontliner, and that's going to be on the budget of a jungle. That means that falling behind and giving away a Baron is tricky. Kingzone, their engage is kind of absent. They're very much about controlling space and the enemy coming to them. Or an Aurelion Soul clashing. And in the laning phase, Aurelion Soul can often get multiple kills because of his ability to get between lanes. When the laning phase ends, the reliability of Aurelion Soul goes way down, as we know.
Want to get on top of this duo lane. Both of them don't have flash. Unfortunately, it seemed like they saw him coming up the river.
And I believe that might be 4 stacks to Songwon because he was involved in the kill onto the Trundle. That's who we had marked earlier. Can't confirm that 100%. We'll get back to you on that one, but Songwon, because of the high roll on the Scuttles at the start, all 3 of his first marks from Scuttle Crabs, in a better scenario than most Kindreds at 0, 1, and 2.
Click the Kindred, please. That's what I want to see. If we could talk to the observers. Oh, they clicked it. Didn't get to see it how fast it was, but either way, Kingzone going to move over here to the Mountain Drake pretty free as Sungwon not in position. The bottom lane just goes for a back. So they'll pick that one up. It is going to be their first of the game with another Mountain, actually Infernal coming up second behind that first Mountain.
Songyun will be hoping that he can fight for that one as his core item finished after picking up the kill earlier. With a Stormrazor. Pickaxe to get to the 100 AD mark so he can evolve his Q, and then focusing on the recurve bow and the Rage Blade to get to his E evolve to become as slippery as possible. Side laning for now is the Kai'Sa.
I like the next item from Kindred, a stopwatch. I guess that's just the way it is nowadays, especially in competitive play. Stopwatch is just so useful, especially in these mid-game fights that determine so much. If you can survive as the Kindred with just a stopwatch, the 600 gold will be worth it.
You can use your ult for team utility is the theory behind that one. For now, Songwon galloping forwards and back, trying to clear out vision around the Rift Herald. Hanwha Life would prefer the Rift Herald, was either taken by them or not taken at all. Can't really afford for it to be used to accelerate the game. So they're patrolling the top side for the next 2 minutes or so, trying to deny that objective from Kingzone.
No start on the Rift Herald just yet. Just poking ahead. Redemption comes out of Soraka, actually. No Zoe on the side of Kingzone this time around.
Something to spot from Soraka as well, to get the vision as they use that spotting Redemption. Songwon's been very creative about ways to leash the Rift Herald too. They like to leash it topside in different games. Time to fight for here. Linderon walks down. You know what that means. The Ornhorn's on the way.
Yeah. Not going to wait for a teleport or anything like that. Really nice snipe here from Lava. Will they block it? Lava not going to be stunned up here, and the Ornn ultimate comes in. Gorilla has to wish, and the Ignite taken down. Oh, where did someone go? And the smite goes over to Peanut. Bit of a mistake there on the side of Hanwha Life. And now the chase comes in. Should be an easy follow-up kill on a K. That's going to be 2, and the Rift Herald going to Kingzone.
This is the time they need to execute, and that is a mis-execution, and then some. Songwon surprised by damage. Dies with stopwatch and ultimate and flash available.
Oh boy.
The amount of ands there tells you that he made a big boo-boo. BD walks up, cleanses.
I mean, this guy is just popping off now. There's no one to stop him. BDD now 4-0. Maybe even picked up a kill in the last fight. Linderon just running away, and Kingzone kind of having fun with this game now.
They're blowing it open, Valdez. Linderon roamed up 2 levels under the GP. Tells you that this was their time. It wasn't their time. It was all a prank. And now Kingzone have maybe just dealt a death knell to the side of Hanwha Life. Look at the gold advantage, the map control, everything gone the way of Kingzone.
I want to see how this guy dies, because Sungwon just took way too much damage in the front line. We were all looking at Gorilla, but somehow this guy died to just pray. True shot barrage and 1 mystic shot, and see you later. Kindred doesn't have a lot of health. You guys saw it in action there.
No Phage, no Black Cleaver. That's the only health we really see in the Kindred build. No chance. Went for the stopwatch and didn't use it. That's 600 gold. It could have been used on anything else. Goes down there. 8 stacks on this Dark Seal. That is a really big Aurelion Soul. BDD has quietly had one of the best mid lane series by any player in this series. The Rise pick surprised us. Not sure if that was BDD or the team calling for it, but he Flame Horizon in game number 1, did it again in game number 2, but then he was monstrous. This Aurelion Soul, equally monstrous. Even if last team fight, it wasn't the damage numbers he might have been looking for.
It was all about Prey in that last one. He was the carry. They all got on the Prey bus this time around. They got 2 extra kills. Whatever it takes, basically, and now Kingzone are so far ahead. 7,000 here at 21 minutes. May even consider a Baron. You know, they don't have the fastest Baron, of course, but definitely could try to turn off of it. They do have that first Mountain Drink as well, which would help out for taking it.
Can cheat with a composition like this. You have Gangplank ult and the ability to fly over the wall. As the Aurelion Soul, usually teams will be stalled out at 21 minutes, but they just have the Rift Tower. They haven't used it, so they can try to use it on an inner turret. Setting up vision isn't as important when you have globals and the ability to get over walls. So you can do a lot with not much, and they have a lot. So they actually kind of have an embarrassment of riches when it comes to increasing the pace of the game. Most teams like this will be stalled out, not Kingzone at this present point.
Man, Prey on point with the True Shot barrages. They're going to go for it, actually. Just trying to stop this push here as Hanwha Life. Not able to stop the Rift Heralds. Geraldine takes it down, and she's looking for another charge in the mid lane.
She's gonna get it.
Yep, she'll get it. Meanwhile, Rascal's in the bottom side. It's looking like a rout here to the side of Kingzone for game 3.
Remember, they dropped the Linderong onto the Ornn to make plays in the mid game. That's why it packed up 2 levels under level 11 Ornn to try to make that play, but they lost after Songwon died instantly over the wall. And when you make a play like that, when you make a pick that's not for lane, that really gets heavily outscaled and even lost in lane to a Klepto Gangplank, you don't really have a way back. You shouldn't have a way back. They rolled high, or tried to roll high. On the Ornn being able to dominate mid-game team fights, it hasn't happened. And now they're even more behind than the 9,000 gold lead suggests.
It's really rough. I mean, Sungwon, we were talking about his game number 1. He was the easy MVP for me. And it's hard for a player to go from the best player on the Rift to the worst one, but in game number 3, that's certainly what's happening here. Not a good sign. You need consistency if you want to be up towards the top, but it's not just Sungwon, it's the entire team that's been struggling with consistency. We see it again tonight. They looked really good after game 2 did not go their way. Unfortunately, they've kind of fallen to the wayside.
They lose to Kingzone today and a Freak of Freaks in a couple of days. Maybe that's just it for them when it comes to top 5, then SK Telecom would only have a Freak to contest with. That top 5 spot, Hanwha Life were able to play a lot of the teams around them in the standings and pick up victories, and they did in game number 1 here. But unable to close out game 2. That one started well for Kingzone. They had a nice mid game, but couldn't close it out. Good Hanwha Life. This one, they just kind of been rolled over by Kingzone. Biggest lead we've seen by any team tonight, I think.
Yeah.
Very comfortable performance by them. BD spots about 800 wards as he goes through the top side, but that's just enemies that see him and say, crap, we got to get away from this Aurelion Soul. 2.5 items, probably working on a Banshee Veil next to continue to play super aggressively. And that Rage Blade may never come for Sung.
It's pretty doubtful. If it does, it's going to be a little bit too late. I say a little bit, but down 9,000 gold tells the story. And, well, at least they'll get the red buff. We got something going for them. We'll steal that away from Prey so that he can't do even more poking. But Kingzone, they're not considering the Baron right now. They just want to fight. They're so much stronger than the side of Hanwha Life. They can just come on in here, try to stun people down, try to 1v1 them alone as well. But they'll just be happy to take out another turret.
Linderong so slow when taking a turret, even with Iceborne Gauntlet on the other side of the map. Kingzone take the objective, they back away. Only the Baron is left, and that's the cherry on the top of what has been a perfect first 25 minutes here. Maybe not in terms of giving up a couple of kills and a turret, but exactly what the Kingzone, SKT, and Afrika fans are looking for. Feels harsh to outnumber in those ways at some of the biggest fan bases in Korean League of Legends, but all of them were hoping for Hanwha Life to fall after game number 1. All of them were nervous. After the first 15 minutes of this game, they were feeling a lot more confident.
Yeah, and Hanwha, once again, kind of just fitting into the role of we beat all of the weaker teams but lose to all the stronger teams. I look back on some of their other losses. It's Griffin twice, Gen G twice, and Kingzone once, SKT once. It's all these really strong teams. They didn't lose to MVP, BBQ, or Jin Air. And they beat KT that one time, 2-0. So, I mean, also Afrika one time, 2-1. So, these guys are good. They're just very, very much the middle of the pack here for LCK.
To me, they're the new Afrika Freaks, the new blue shell that can beat any team on their day, which included game 1 of this series. Afrika Freaks in 2017 with Marin and their old lineup were very similar in that way. But the consistency of 18 best of 3s eluded them right at the last when they lost to Jin Air in such heartbreaking fashion in spring season, and it's happening again here. So close, but so far it doesn't count for much. They won't be able to reach the Worlds qualifier as they have no circuit points from the spring season unless they make a playoffs run. The gold graph is one where the scale is important. Notice that the second standard deviation is 10,000 gold, not the 2,000 to 5,000 we've seen in other games. The Rage Blade is there for Songyun, but I don't think it's enough. It's too little, too late.
See what they can make happen. The Devourer has to start the fight as the Ornn ultimate is kind of funny. They knock a Prey here. but no follow-up will come through as the kind of barrage is going to effectively zone them all away. Lava still trying to poke and doing a good job of it, but BDD is the raid boss in these fights. Don't get any of that poke damage wrong. BDD can probably 1v3 the side of Hanwha Life if he has his team behind him.
Aforementioned BDD, it's that top lane, starts to push it in. So much map control, but no Baron start yet for Kingzone. We think with Soraka Trundle, they could tank it for a long time. 66 health onto the blue buff there, but not going to be picked up. Comes BDD, actually maxed the stun last. I usually see W into Q, but went W into E this game for even more roaming and movement speed. When is the right time for Baron is really the only question left for Kingzone. They push up the vision, they have a marksman to try to kill it. Play the Rune King has been done for a while. The turn is decent, it's not the best ever, but it's decent. And have the hard engage to fully force someone to fight them. But now being respectful, if you're doing that at 27 minutes, I guess it's okay. If you're still doing it at 33, that's a pretty significant problem for Kingzone.
So far, just waiting on members to pick up items, I suppose, but they all have really good items, even the 3 items on the side of Gangplank, as he picked up his Guardian Angel already. Can get some nice TPs inside there. Hanwha has been able to clear out a lot of the deep vision, at least, so there's no fantastic teleport ward. But
pretty safe build from the GP.
Yeah.
For Guardian Angel third when he was so far ahead in terms of gold and his team is winning. To me, that's a build. Just run at the enemy AD carry and try to parlay kill him, or at least waste his time in a team fight. As if the Kai'Sa isn't able to dispatch the first member, you would definitely bank on BDD and Prey being able to take the front line of Hanwha Life pretty quickly. But Storm Rays are usually the norm here and would provide threat to the backline instead of the GA. I guess for another frontliner, or at least to do an imitation of a frontliner on the side of Kingzone.
Yeah, you know, Rascal hasn't been the star of the performance here for Kingzone. And especially when you have your Aurelion Soul go 5-0 and your Ezreal having that much damage, you don't necessarily need Rascal to go super risky in his build. Just make sure you have some sort of front line. It's going to be a nice one, especially for the Soraka too, because Stoneplate also finished for the Trundle.
He's certainly a frontline. He's actually got Stoneplate and also the stopwatch. So we'll be able to use both in a team fight and zone control forever. To me, Rascal reminds me a lot of what Easyhoon provided SKT in 2015. He's very capable. I don't think I can rate him in terms of top laners, but he's very capable. And I think given that Khan can be streaky and can have very emotional reactions to games, and there's no reason that Rascal can't get significant playtime in a best-of-5. He's not a closer, but he's a very reliable player, and I think that's an important thing for Kingzone to have in the top lane.
Seems very even keel. I would agree with you. Trying to get onto Rascal, none of the stuff hits, but after they won game 2...
On ultimate's down, so they just say, whatever, let's just do Baron.
I guess so. Of course, Lava can come in here and try to poke him down with some trouble bubbles, and Kingzone are not willing to take any risks in this one. They say, oh, they spotted us. We will not continue the Baron at any cost.
They're just always looking for what they can get. And it's so free to start the Baron when you have Trundle Soraka. If there's a mistake made around the Rift you can capitalize on, you can capitalize. If they don't come, you take the Baron. There's no cost to start the Baron, and it's one of the few ways you can get Hanwha Life to actually step up. So keep doing it. It's definitely the right move for Kingzone.
Yeah. Peanut here just holding away for Prey, I suppose, who just TP'd in.
Prey has a very safe build on the Ezreal Iceborne Gauntlet double lifesteal and CDR boots, so he is just never going to die. With a build like that, Kai'Sa will even take a long time to 1v1 him. Kai'Sa herself, Execution is calling. Someone needs to deal with the Soraka, so it's going to be the Kai'Sa. No Morellonomicon here for Lava, who's just trying to burst one person. He would love it to be the Ezreal.
It's been okay with his trouble bubbles so far. Nothing too great. But Again, they've been very far behind for the majority of this game. The 9,000 gold lead has stayed the same for the last 10 minutes or so. Still waiting for that moment they go for the Baron. You mentioned 33 minutes. We're getting close, just a minute away, and still they have not committed to this.
Rascal is decked out. This man has certainly got some good deals. He's 4 items. They say, let's try it again. Second visit to the Baron by Kingzone.
They're gonna hit the Gorilla on the backside, the Soraka. Chance for a steal comes in, and Peanut eats a ton of damage, so they will once again back away. No risks, no reason to when you're this far away. Might as well just wait until Hanwha's not in the best spot. Ult's gonna come in here from Linderong. Prey does not have his knock-up. He's in a lot of trouble. Soraka trying to heal him up, but BDD in the front line too. Someone nearly able to take him out on the front line. Oh boy, that was close, but now Prey looking to turn it around here with his own red buff. Looking to slow down Linderong, and the barrel is gonna get him to slow. He will be forced to flash, so nobody will die on the side of Hanwha Life, but a lot of low bars.
Smite is out of this fight. The Kindred definitely has to back, so what will Kingzone do? Peanut's healed back up, they're onto the Baron.
Immediately, it might be up to Lava to go for a smite himself, you could say. Rascal gonna take a bunch of damage on the front line. It's gonna be close, and there it is. Smite's at 5 health, it looks like.
Yeah, 5 HP on the Baron. That was actually one where the more sparkles could have stolen it from Lava. That is definitely living on the edge for Kingzone, something they shouldn't be doing when they're so far ahead. They finally get the Baron. They knew no smite could hit the pit, but that one was too close for comfort.
Well, they spent so much time trying to be careful taking the Baron, but they almost lost it anyway. I suppose that's the way it goes. Isn't it ironic?
It's worrying, though, to me, Valdez, because a team that faces them in the future will look at that and say, aha, if we can frustrate Kingzone for long enough, they'll make a mistake. In that case, they were too brash around the Baron, it got too low. Hanwha Life looking for a gank brush.
This is so Hanwha Life, too.
But they're moving. Don't move, Sungwon. Stay where you are. Where is the enemy team, is a question BDD is asking.
Oh, it might be Peanut to check it here. Oh, he is so dead. Gonna try to flash over the wall here, but you might as well go bye-bye as the stopwatch is committed to. Not sure about that one. He was gonna go down anyway.
You would think that BDD and Peanut could have shared words about where are they at, let's be safe. That was not safe, Peanut. Definitely next time you might want to consider using the pillar and just knocking someone out of there. Doesn't give vision anymore, I don't believe, but would have given them the information they needed.
Well, maybe he's tilted after smiting at 5 health. That's all I could say. You know, that's not the best play, especially when about 7 back pings happened in the river and said they're probably in here, and then Peanut face checked it anyway.
Peanut going for the sick 100% death count on his team.
Nice.
I mean, if anyone's going to die, you would prefer it was definitely the Trundle. Soraka actually has a lot of value in extended fight. Peanut kind of puts down a pillar and dies slowly. That's his job.
Yeah.
However, that sort of a death, don't know if you can excuse that.
Oh,
damn. That is some sick damage.
Yeah. Hanwha do have a type of, well, Lava trying to die there. They have a composition that if the Ezreal ease forward again and he doesn't have his flash this time around, he could be in a lot of trouble. They're so far ahead, though, that it might not matter. The last fight just made you think about the possibilities, though.
I'm worried about the possibilities of a second double Elder, because that's an Elder taken for free. They have a double Mountain. Remember, that is a hell of a lot of pushing power now with the Infernal, 12% AD, and also 30% structure damage. Hanwha Life need to get everyone here, and I don't even know if it's enough.
Well, they have a nice little wave coming on in here. Zoe not really able to clear the wave too much. Gonna land the Sleepy Trouble Bubble, but BDD doing his own amount of zoning, and look at how fast that turret disappears. Speaking of which, Sungwon just gonna disappear from our eyes, as if he never even existed. Didn't die, but basically did.
Hanwha Life can only defend their mid lane. Ornn doesn't have teleport, and for a long time, remember, it is 6-minute timers on the teleport, so the better part of 2.5 minutes plus for Linderong to make it to a team fight. Going to get a bit of help from Kindred, just increase the speed at which they deal with his first load of minions. Sungin walks up, but not going to be able to assassinate Peanut this time. Ultra safe Prey is once again going to go for the safest build ever, going for the Mercurial Scimitar next.
Is there any point at which Hanwha Life, like what minute timer do you think they come back with a Kai'Sa that can just 6-item try to own the team fights in the late game? Does that ever happen for Hanwha?
Any of us a tank top laner, you say definitely yes against a GP who can always stand and deliver and at least chunk out a Kai'Sa. We already saw Griffin fail in a pretty similar scenario, so I'm definitely not going to commit to it. Hanwha Life committing to their standard let's stand in a brush situation.
Oh, Gorilla just popping forward. Nearly gets beaten there, but the Voice of Light comes through in the Cannon Barrage, and so many members on the side of Hanwha are super low. Lamser Spike comes in as an afterthought, but that's going to be 2 kills for sure. Linderong goes down, as does Key. Another double kill goes over to BDD, and they're looking for the end now.
Just like SK Telecom T1, Hanwha Life need to shelve this hide on bush idea.
Really wants to get the Penta here, but BDD may have bitten off more than he could chew. No, he didn't. There's the Quadra. Prey gonna steal away the Penta, because why not? BDD too low to take it anyway, and we're gonna have another King Zone victory, 2-1 this time around.
King Zone DragonX do a favor for SKT and Afrika. Hanwha Life can't use their game in hand to move to 9-match wins. King Zone join Griffin at 11-match wins, and the chances of King Zone DragonX going 3 splits in a row as our first seed is still a possibility.
Still might happen. You look at game number 3 and you say they still have it in them, right? They just destroy Hanwha Life in game number 3. Not very close in that one, even though it took them a while to take the Baron. Rascal solemn as ever. He's that even keel spirit you need in the lineup, is able to take 2 wins back for the side of King Zone.
Well-deserved victory for King Zone overall. Hanwha Life, great in game number 1, but game 2 tried the all-in comp, only got it online too late, ended up losing. Game number 3, rolled over in the early game. This was the biggest dragon you've seen from the mid lane in a long while, Huhiesk, from MSI a few years ago. From there, King Zone DragonX close it out. They continue their win streak. They now add Hanwha Life next to KT and Afrika, a very important 3 teams to be taken down. King Zone going for standard comps has certainly helped them. The return for the spring meta seems to be a welcome return for King Zone DragonX. Peanut smiling on your screen. He wasn't subbed out today. It was Rascal that came in, and Rascal, ever reliable, closed the door on Hanwha Life Esports.
Lava and Linderong, the 2 L's, looking like they took it the hardest. And Hanwha Life themselves taking the 2 L's today. It's rough, you know, they're so close to making it into playoffs. They're nearly good enough. But that next matchup against Afrika is going to decide so much for both of those organizations after the loss tonight.
The problem with being nearly good enough for playoffs, 2 splits in a row, is it means you finish 6th, you have no circuit points, and you have a hell of a long holiday because you'll be watching on as teams flock to Korea for Worlds. There will be nothing for Hanwha Life to play for in that regard. Maybe a Casper Cup, don't even know if there will be one this year. But we're watching the early game here. Just so many times King Zone traded up. BDD first on the roam to the bot side was so important to them. Ended up with a double kill in this play. His Aurelion Soul is now, I believe, 3-1 in the LCK. Got that loss, might be 2-1. Got the
2-1,
loss.
yeah.
Lost against Fly, and then Fly turned it around and won the reverse matchup. And now 2 victories on the trot for BDD. It's a nice situational pick. It's a different way to play around the Zoe. Zoe looking very balanced in this game number 3.
Certainly did. Aurelion Soul beginning to show its face as, hey, this is actually really good if you play it the way that BDD did. Prey felt like the hero when he took out Sungwon with just the R in the queue, but certainly the MVP of this one, no question, should go over to BDD again. You mentioned one of the best performances for a mid laner in a series. If we had that award, I think BDD might have picked it up tonight.
Definitely BDD living up to his name, big damage dealer in this series, able to run around and influence 3 games in a row, and all of them strong performances, even if game number 1 didn't go the way of King Zone. a couple of heals. The job is done for Kingzone DragonX. Seeing the players walk off now. They look relieved, Valdez, that they were able to pick up this match victory because nothing is good enough for Kingzone other than regular season first place.
The life of a Trundle, 1,709 damage. Peanut definitely was kind of the punching bag for Hanwha Life. They got 3 kills. Peanut had 3 deaths. But you look at the damage from Aurelion Sol and Ezreal, definitely the two that were carrying the team by the bootstraps in that one. Rascal, a decent game on the gangplank as well. Really good cannon barrages in that game. Very well placed.
Haven't had a game where there was more than a 15,000 gold lead at the end in a while. We've had so many close ones today, so many long ones as well. Another almost 40-minute game. Congratulations, BDD.
Yep. 9-0-0.
Wow.
How about that, guys? It's over 900, basically,
Legendary
for this guy.
+1, 100% kills for him. No assists needed. Congratulations to BDD.
I'm going to hand it over to Ji-Sun. She'll help out with the individual translation of just BDD on the MVP interview.
Thank you very much. This will be BDD having his solo interview for picking up victory against Hanwha Life Esports. It's the king BDD. Congratulations.
야, 엄청난 인기를 구가하고 계십니다.
Well, I guess you're super popular. How do you feel right now? It was such an important match for us, and it's really sad that it was 2-0 victory. But however, it feels really good.
아, 8월이에요, 여러분.
Well, it's August right now,
다시 한번 축하드리고요.
and your first victory in August. Congratulations.
주먹을 쥐게 만드는
And you know,
그런
today's series
치열한
was so
경기였습니다.
close.
유난히 좀 공격적이었던 것 같은데.
And I think you guys showed really aggressive play. So how was today's match? As a whole team, I think we really pulled out a lot of good things together. And we're going to prepare so hard for our upcoming matchups.
그 순위 변동이 계속되고 있잖아요. 선수분들이 좀
So-
압박감이 있을 것 같은데 어떠세요?
It's really, the competition between the teams are so intense right now. So does that kind of add you more pressure? It does, but we just try not to concentrate on the rankings. We just do our best to concentrate solely on our plays.
이제 결국에는 오늘 이제 패승승으로 역전승을 이뤄내는데
Finally, you guys picked a victory in 2-0 score. But however, the game 1, there were a lot of mistakes, right? Yeah, I think we made so many mistakes. So yeah, we just said that let's get rid of our mistakes, and I knew that our mechanics were better. So we were feeling confident enough.
있는 상태로 2세트를 시작을 하셨군요. 아무래도 2세트에서 그 모습이 더 보였던 것 같아요. 근데
So game
진짜
2, I think you guys were feeling really confident. However, Hanwha did make a lot of comebacks and fightbacks. Is there any highlights that you remember?
사실 기억 남는 장면은 그냥 마지막 장로에서
I think the last team fight
밖에 기억이 안 나는 것 같아요.
near the Elder Dragon.
네, 어제 저기 경기여가지고
Yeah, second match was yesterday, so I think you got lost of some of your memories. So let's go through the highlights.
네. 이미 이거는 포킹이 지나갔죠? 지나고 피넛 선수가 장로 드래곤 가져오고
Peanut took the Elder Dragon, and you guys won the team fight also.
여기서 일단 다들 한타를 되게 잘하고
We were really good at team fights,
설계를 되게 잘
and also I think we were zoning really well. So I think we were able to pick up great results.
값진 또 킬이 아니었나 이런 생각이 듭니다.
설계를 누가 했습니까?
그 설계는 거의
So whose plan was that?
피드 좀 많이 하는
I think
편이에요.
Peanut.
오,
He's the main shot caller in our team.
큰 그림 보면서 좀 설계를 미리 해주는 그런 역할이신 것 같아요.
네.
네. 상미절에서 또 이제 기억을 좀 상기시켜 볼까요?
So is there any questions for game 2?
고위 구도에서 계속 상대방을
So
압박을
Zoe
잘
versus
해주면서
Galio in mid
칼날부리
lane.
쪽에서 적군 쪽 칼날부리 쪽에서 갈리오를 따내는 모습이
You took down Galio near the Raptor.
그때 뭐 그라가스도 먼저 와 있고 알리스타까지 올라오면서
There was Gragas and Alistair
있었는지도 궁금하고 그
for the
장면도 다시
backup.
한번
So what
보고
kind of shot goals went back and
기억이 안
forth?
나서 장면을 먼저 봐야
I don't actually remember, so I think we have to go through the
오래된
clips.
이야기를 지금 하고 있어요. 어쩔 수가 없어요.
어쩔 수가 없어요. 하루 지났기 때문에 네, 조금은
자,
So
이제
this is the replay.
볼게요.
이때 일단 상대 레드로 트런들이 올 거를 예상해가지고
We saw that Trundle will be near the red buff, so we were just camping there. But we saw Galio, so we were able to take him down.
예상을 했는데 오히려 갈리오가 오면서 좀 더.
So I guess you were actually planning to take down Trundle, but well, you guys ended up in picking up Galio, right?
네.
왜요?
네?
아니에요.
아니요.
네네.
자, 그러면 이제 3세트로
Then moving on to game 3.
네,
예, 예.
넘어가서 이제 다른 이야기를 좀 더 해볼 건데요.
이제
초반에 네.
말씀하세요.
Okay,
BDD 선수가
In the early
쪽으로
games,
로밍을 빠르게 움직였습니다.
you roam really
그
early
장면을 조금
to the top lane.
보면서 아우렐리온 소리 조이 상대로 나오게 된 바로 되네요. 네.
So this is the
이때는
clip.
어떻게 누가 먼저
So whose
콜을
call
해줬나요?
was that?
그때 그냥 제가 라인 밀고 그냥
Well,
시간
I just
남아가지고 탑 간다
pushed the
해가지고
lane and I got some time left, so I
그냥
told him to I'll be roaming to top, and we were lucky to take him down.
그냥 뭐 나이스.
What did Rascal say? He just said nice.
나이스!
Well done.
네, 나이스! BDD 최고 이러면서.
그렇죠. 아니 근데 저 궁금했던 게 사실 조이가 나왔잖아요.
Well, my question is that Zoe,
상대로 아우렐리온소를 꺼내서
Well,
처음에는 사실 갸우뚱하시는 분들도
we
좀
thought that
계셨어요.
it could be a little bit weak against Zoe, Aurelion Soul. So what's the plan or strategy you guys trying to bring in?
조이 상대로 해봤는데 좀 나쁘지
Well,
않은
I have played Aurelion Soul a lot, and I don't think it's a weak champion against Zoe. So that's how we ended up blocking in Aurelion Soul.
아닌가 조이를 상대로.
그러니까요.
기본적으로 상대 통통별이랑 이 쿨쿨방울을 다 피해.
I think you just dodge all the skills from Zoe and then land all your skills back.
라인 클리어를 먼저 하고 먼저
I think that was how you won the laning phase.
그래서 어떤가요? 자신만 할 수 있는 거
So how was
아니에요?
game
네.
3?
일단 되게 자신감이 있어서
I was really confident on Aurelion Soul, so it kind of gave me more confidence to dodge all the skills.
조이를 또 완전히 잘 다루는 또
그렇죠.
선수다
And
보니까
BDD, you are also a
그
good
모습을
Zoe
다
player, so I
이제
think it was
상상을
extra
하면서 미리
comfortable
피할
for
수
you
있었던
to
것
play
같아요.
against Zoe
그런
today.
어떤 픽맨적인 측면에 있어서도 해설분들께서 말씀하신 것이
And the Korean casters said
글로벌 궁극기가 있는 챔프에다가 아우렐리온
there were 3 global ultimates and also Aurelion Soul. So I thought you guys were planning on to go aggressively in the early games.
미드 바텀이 되게 주도권이 있는 픽이라서
I think the mid and the bot laners had a lot of laning priorities, so we knew that game would be a little bit easier. And I think we brought in some better
중간에
draft.
또 하나생명의 특기 중 하나 이제 맥을 끊는 이런 장면이 있었어요. 그
Well, however,
이후에 순간 좀 분위기가 이상해지다가
Hana was almost close to turn the game around.
선수의 슈퍼플레이가 한번
But you
나오면서
know, near the Herald,
많은 이득을
Prey just
거뒀었거든요.
melted
그 장면
down.
한번
Kindred,
보면서
right?
대화를 나눠보고 싶습니다. 네.
이야기를 좀 우리가 하고 있으면
네.
알아서 이제 영상을 틀어주실 거예요. 한번 볼까요?
So let's go through the clips.
자, 이 장면인데요. BD 선수 말씀 좀 해주시죠.
일단
So what was going on over there?
얘기가 많이 오고 가서
So we were confident that we could win the team fight at that moment, and also Prey was doing so much damage by himself, so it ended up in a good result. So we all 5 said nice together.
그렇습니다. 아, 진짜 오늘 너무 치열했고 그래서 전투가 진짜 많았잖아요.
네.
킬이 어마어마하게 많이 나서
There were
모든
so many
장면들
fights
기억하기가
and
어려우실
so many
텐데
kills.
이렇게 하나하나 예, 다
And
말씀을
it
해주실 수가
will be
있는데
super
저희가
happy to
보여드릴까요? 오늘 뭘
end
했는지?
out the game with victory, right?
자,
And
이렇게
this is
시작이
the
되어서
entire kill log for game 3.
와, 진짜 많이 돌아다니셨네요.
There were so many kills, and I guess you roamed a lot.
먼저
네.
You were just all over the Summoner's Rift.
아우렐리온 소의 그 장점을 그대로 다 살리시면서 왔다 갔다 하시면서 모든 라인에 또 도움을
So
주신
I
것
guess I
같습니다.
can see that you were taking advantage of your own pick of Aurelion
자, 이제
Soul.
남은 경기가
And
오늘도
your next
굉장히
opponent
또 부담되는
will be
경기였습니다만
BBQ
승리를
and
거두셨고,
SK
남은 경기
Telecom.
BBQ 리버스 그리고 SK텔레콤 T1입니다. 두 경기 이제 마무리
You have
잘하신다면
2 more games
진짜
left.
포스트 시즌 확정
And you guys are so close to the postseason and also going straight to the finals.
이제 팬분들이 또 많은 기대를 하고 계실 것 같은데
So
각오
is there any
한
last
말씀
message
들어보면서
for your
마무리할까요?
fans?
네, 일단 자력으로 1등 진출은 힘든 것 같아서
I know it will be hard to make it to the first place, so I'm hoping other teams also do well for us. And we're gonna practice hard and do our best to make our way to the first place. Thank
네,
you.
감사합니다. 자, 저는 이 시간까지 지금 12시 20분인데
So it's 12:20 in the morning, but there are so many fans out here supporting and waiting for you guys.
저희가 부진할 때 계속 응원해 주셔서
Thank you for supporting us, even though when we are performing bad.
꼭 실력 올려서
We're gonna
좋은
come back with
모습
better
보여드리도록
performance to show
노력하겠습니다.
better performance for our fans. Thank you so much.
아, 밥 안 드셔도 배부르시겠다. 그렇습니다.
You got great
자,
fans,
앞으로도
BDD.
포스트 시즌 경쟁 멋지게 이겨내시길
So
바라고요.
today's series
멋진
ended up
BDD
in
모습
August
계속해서 기대하도록
with Kingzone
하겠습니다.
DragonX
다시 한번
picking a
축하드립니다.
victory against Hana Life Esports, and I will pass it back to our casters for the last time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, G-Sun, for the translation.
It was a day, Valdez.
It was a good one. It was a long one. A lot of things happened. Jin Air won today, by the way, guys. Defeated Griffin earlier on, if you missed that one. And Kingzone just barely came back, but this is what's important. The standings, Afrika take 5th, and Kingzone are up there with the same score as Griffin.
Hanwha Life had one match in hand, they lose it, and now are 8-7 next to Afrika and SKT. SKT have the worst game score, but they actually play the Afrika Freaks tomorrow in what should be a mouth-watering one for the top 5. It's very likely the team that wins this is going to be in first position to make top 5. Afrika Freaks, they've been trending down. SKT, with Pyrion recently, have been trending up. But this is pretty much the put up or shut up game for SK Telecom T1. They must win this one. The rest of their schedule is very tough as well.
I'm sure you guys are glad to see us on the screen. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a good one, right? The whole week, there's so many important matches, right? SKT versus Griffin as well. I think that's on Thursday. And then you also have Afrika versus Hanwha Life on Sunday when we come back. So all those teams in the middle, they're all going to have to fight against each other. And those 2 or 3 matches, those are going to be the ones that decide who actually makes it into playoffs.
All those decisions, even the relegations now, is going to be so close-knit. That's why every match, even if it isn't Gen.G versus KT, because we had all those matches last week, they still all have their standings implications, whether it's looking up, looking down. Griffin have to look back now because they no longer have that grace period where they have a match lead over anyone. That loss to Jin Air makes them so mortal, given that KT actually owns the head-to-head against Griffin.
Yeah, it's super competitive up at the top, down at the bottom, and even in the middle. Everywhere here in Korea has just been so exciting for summer, and we're almost done, guys. We only got 7 days left over until the regular season is finished for the summer. Obviously, after that, we would do playoffs, 2 days here, and then 2 days over at OGN, including the finals. It's going to be a fun one, Papa. Any last words?
Come back tomorrow, SKT Afrika. What a banger of a second game.
It's going to be a big one, guys. I'll be there in the chat. We'll be watching with you guys. Thank you once again for watching on today. It's been a long day. We love you. We'll see you next time.